mids sound really good.
This thing sounds great.
Rolling.
Hi everybody, this is Cam, and I'm here at the Horse Drown Production Studio with Eric Yoder, owner and head engineer. We also have here owner of another studio, Edge of Satellites, Eric Gosselin, also lead guitarist of
Fierce Atmosphere.
Fierce Atmospheres, the name that you should hear twice before you remember it. The reason why we're here is
Good stuff.
this guitar player, Kenny Olson, who used to play lead guitar for Kid Rock, and he's got his own bands, multiple bands, got one of these KAM Chainsaw pedals, and his comment to me, one of the first ones, was when he plugs it into his Fender amp, it makes it sound like a JCM 800 Marshall. So I really wanted to find out, you know, how close do they sound, and what does that really mean? So to make it as neutral as possible, I asked two excellent audio engineers to join in, and we're going to do like a little bit of experimenting and find out if there's any truth to that.
Sounds good. Let's
Let's check it out.
All right.
Can we start with JCM 800, because I want to get a reference in my head. Then I can tweak it and try to go there.
So let's hit this amp on standby first, but okay. Okay, ready? Yeah, we gotta hit standby on this one too. Alright, so this is the Marshall. Let's do it.
Are you getting him too? Is he in the picture?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, actually, between you and I, the way
I got it all.
the way you
Sounds
have
great
it
in
set
there.
up, that's a lot less highs than my thing. So
Okay.
just play a little bit. Let me try to. And are we?
This is all that's working, and I kept it all in the middle.
All right.
So
Everything's
that
in the middle.
EQ
All right.
was hopefully
So
just.
you go ahead and I'll try. As far as bass and treble and mid-level, are we pretty par, do you think? Pretty close, or?
Compared to that?
Yeah.
Well, let's try. I'll play the same riff.
Now I gotta
and
hear.
then we'll switch amps and I'll do the same
Okay,
riff.
yeah.
Did that get changed at all?
So switching back to chainsaw. That's a lot more.
To add, I think, you know, it's fun to be able to split hairs and we can tweak each. What's interesting is that there's room on the Marshall and on the pedal to add more and less high where it still sounds okay.
Right.
Like you can adjust the settings of both and kind of make them how you want, and it's not like it's taking away from the overall thing, you know, like.
Yeah, both and the pedal are sort of in the mid-range of their controls. We got room on every side, mid.
And it gives this thing like that mid crunch that this normally has too. It kind of fills that in pretty nice.
Now, after we try to get them as close as possible, I want to get them as extreme as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Well,
We got, since they're close and I'm rolling, why don't you do one riff and we'll cue it. So this is JCM 800 riff 1. Okay, same riff. Those sound pretty nice to me.
I want to try something extreme.
Go for it.
One of the things that I like is like skip the mid and give it a lot of bass and a lot of highs. Let's see how that sounds.
Ready?
Alright, now we'll try the same thing on the Marshall.
So I'm going to scoop it and give it all the bass and almost all the. Go ahead. So Eric, as far as the feel of the playing and as far as ease of doing harmonics, how did you feel in comparison?
I kind of almost think I like this sound a little better than the Marshall itself.
One thing I'd like to inject, I feel like when we run the Marshall through the orange cabinet, I feel like that is almost closer to the like that orange cabinet sound, which we same cabinet type 4x12, but this gives it a little bit more like open-ended, like deeper tone, which is kind of similar to that. So
Right.
I think, you know, we know, everyone knows that the Marshall works on rock and roll records, so that's a staple. So the fact that we have another color that's similar to that, and maybe even a little edgier, like I think
a little more edge, I think.
the brighter edge, when you bring that one up on the bright side, is really nice, not harsh at all. I thought.
It's real nice.
Now, if we wanted, I mean, how much do we care about these things actually sounding exactly the same or not? I think if we wanted to test that, we could run it through the same cabinet too.
I know that if, from what I've heard already, I know that if I have the job on a record where someone is like, hey, I need to overdub my solo and I don't have a JCM 800, I could make that work.
Oh, yeah.
On a record, I
Yeah.
could tweak that to fool everyone who was not at the session, be like, yeah, that was a Marshall, and I think you could easily achieve that.
I mean,
And I think it
Similar
probably has
tones,
to be
yeah.
a big Fender. I don't know what a smaller Fender amp or
That
a different
could be
kind of
a part
amp
of
if it's
it,
not
too,
gonna.
but-
the tone is gonna be the same, but the amount of
Right.
bass resonance.
Now,
you
putting
get
that
is
pedal through the clean channel of the Marshall
We
would
can
be a
try
different
that,
sound
too.
than that.
Oh,
But
that's,
I gotta give like a big credit to Kenny Olson for like, you know, plugging it to his Fender and saying, this sounds like a JCM 800.
Right. So you're editing all this,
I don't know.
I assume, right?
well, I got all the audio, so the audio will be in the same order as the video, so we'll know
And
exactly
the
what's
nice thing
what.
is that you got the audio, so if we need to like bring up when we talk, we can do that.
So basically, just so we're in the know, the signal chain, both from both amps, so a 57 and a ribbon mic, both going through a Focusrite mic pre, no compression, through an Apogee converter. So no EQ. I started to mess with a little bit of EQ on the ribbon mic, and what we were discussing is that I think the choice of color would depend on the situation and the person. So where the high part, so the lead stuff on the Marshall was more natural and worked well. The high stuff on the Chainsaw, the way we had it set, was a little brighter. However, the low stuff on the Marshall was with those same settings a little muddier than where the Chainsaw was too. But both the same mic pre and same no EQ coming in. So.
I'm actually kind of hearing more of the low end breaking up on the Marshall now too, and whereas when we go to the Chainsaw pedal, all the low end and everything's tighter and just it's a more metal sound actually.
I
It's
agree.
more of
It's
a-
definitely more metal. The difference between, you know, your Aerosmith or something versus like
Testament or some shit.
yes,
So-
exactly.